Hi, welcome to For His Glory podcast with your host, Yamlex Colon Rivera. But for His glory, we are healed. Let's talk about it. And today we're going to be discussing who is God in your life. And through my experiences, I'm gonna kind of go by as God ministered me, because I think we often talk about God and fail to explain who is God in our lives. So through my story, I hope that you are able to kind of relate or see who is God really in your life, right? We tend to always talk about God and God in these amazing stories through the scripture, but we tend to forget or to identify who really God is in our lives, in different situations of our lives. It could be in our struggles and in so many situations where God shows up and he automatically becomes either your provider, your healer, your father. And through my personal experiences, I want to share with you guys who is God in my life, right? I'm going to start with a young girl that was raised in church, or should I say, raised in church, or most importantly, just I had the knowledge at a very young age of who God is, right? My mom was raised in church, and as I grew up, I was also raised in church, even though we had our moments where we distanced ourselves from church, but we always knew who God is, right? And also, we're also going to be discussing on top of it all, or just a mixture of everything of how I had to transition from my mom's God to my own God. And that's something also that's not discussed a lot. And it's from going from having my own experiences in my own relationship with God and not going by of what my mom has experienced or what my mom has lived, or going by my mom's personal relationship with God, if not transitioning also to having my own relationship with him. And it looks very different. Your relationship with God and my relationship with God is completely different, because we are two different human beings. And that's kind of what we want to talk about today. So a Bible verse that hits home for me is Psalms 139, is where David found himself in a very, very hard and dark place in his life, where he ended up fleeing, running away, and going into this cave where he was by himself. And he started then acknowledging God and seeing God in his life in a more personal way, right? In a more private, deep way. And I'm going to be reading Psalms 139. And this is literally my favorite Bible verse that I can identify so much when I'm struggling through things, or where I find myself questioning on who I am in the midst of the moment, when God transitions you to different experiences with him, where you start questioning yourself that time. This Bible verse makes me realize, or takes me to this passage takes me to where I'm I don't have to worry. If God knows who I am, as long as he's the one ahead of me and leading me, there's no worry. There should be no worry, As humans, it is normal to worry and to have these emotions. The important part is to always understand and kind of like take control of those emotions. Don't let the emotions take control of you. Always give those emotions to God and ask Him to help you manage those emotions, to where those emotions don't cause that gap between your relationship with God or that distance, should I say. Psalms 139 says, "You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light became night around me, even the darkness will not be too dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for the darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was wombed together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to me. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of the sand. When I awake, I am still with you. If only you, God, would slay the wicked away from me. And to me, this Bible scripture is very important to me because, like I said previously, when I find myself in really dark moments where I feel like in those moments I kind of lose myself or kind of lose like who I am in God, because that can happen to anyone, especially in this path where it's not easy. It's not impossible, but it's not easy. This Bible verse always helps me understand that I'm not by myself, that God knows who I truly am. Literally, God knows you and me more than we know ourselves. And I want to start off by saying, right, as a young child, knowing about God, knowing His wonders, right, my mom leading the way and teaching me, I did experience a couple of things that are very hard kind of to hear, and sometimes for some people it kind of wouldn't make sense because you're like, a girl who was raised in God, who was raised in knowing who God is and knowing His wonders and knowing everything, how can she experience such horrible situations, right? And I want to make it clear that just because you become a child of God does not make you immune to experiencing hard things in life. I believe, and I've believed throughout every of my experiences, that I am not to blame God for everything, because one thing that God has given us is the free will. We can make choices, right? We have that free will to make the right choices. And well, I've experienced moments in my life where other people haven't made the right choices towards me, or I haven't made made right choices either, right? So that's why we need to seek God and create that relationship with him so that we can learn how to make those choices. So, but that still doesn't make us immune to experiencing things in this world, because this world at the end of the day is very malicious, and we human beings sometimes have we live in this flesh. So as long as we live in this flesh, we're always going to have that battle of the good and the bad, right? But God is our guidance. God is our strength. God is the one that helps us through it all, right? So at the age of 5 years old, my mom was really in depth in the relationship with God and going to church, and I was going with her with my two brothers, and we were just always there with our mother. Our mother was a single mother with 3 kids, hardworking mother, a mother that was always present, and she was a great mom, an amazing mom. She still is. But that still didn't take away that myself, I had to experience certain things in my life because of the lack of, bad choices, or should I say just in general bad choices from other people towards my life, or I don't know, I had to go through it. And honestly, it might not make sense to many people, because it's not until you're healed and you see what God has restored you from, and how you can now have conversations with other people regarding these situations, that you see God's glory. You see God's glory through such a horrific situation, because you have allowed him to kind of come into your life and kind of have that willingness, that openness to create a relationship where he starts working in you, and now you're able to be that help to others, right? I strongly believe that everything has a purpose, whether it seems unfair, whether it seems questionable, because we humans love to question God a lot. We love to blame him for everything. And no, we also have to learn how to have self-control and, common sense, and also be responsible and hold accountability for our mistakes in the midst of everything that we go through, and not just always be quick to point the finger to God, right? So I want to first start by saying that God was first presented to me as a one-on-one as my father, right? Little backstory, not with too much details, because too much details sometimes just don't educate us as much. We don't need to go too much in depth, but I grew up, like I said, my mom was a single mother of 3 kids. I did have my father around. He would come into my life, leave my life. It was kind of like a off and on type of fatherhood that I had. So I always had this inside of me, that missing piece of having that father relationship, daughter-father relationship. I've always, at the time, I've always kind of fought with that. I always wanted that. So I found myself in a really hard situation at age 5, like I mentioned previously, that my mom was going to church. She was a person that would write to people in the prisons, either women or men, and just talk about God through letters. And she would particularly go to this one couple's house, an older couple, and she would go and kind of just talk to them and just be just give them advice. Or she was also writing to one of her children that was in the prison, and my mom was really involved. My mom loved to be that help and that guidance, and she just loved to help, especially when she is in that relationship with God. She just wants to be that helping hand, right? I was assisting this church where this one guy, older guy, would always hand me I think he was a deacon. He would always hand me my favorite candies. So as a child, that caught my attention. I ended up obviously as a regular child, kind of going getting my favorite candy. We end up in this couple's house Sundays after church. Like I said, my mom was a single mother, so we were always with her. And I think at the time, my older brother was a little bit more independent because he was obviously older, and me and my little brother were always the ones mainly around my mom. And I had gone through a sexual abuse situation with this one older guy from church who represented, religious people very well. He had this great appearance of he's a saint, he don't make mistakes. And I was an innocent child. I was only 5 years old. And it's crazy to me because when I experienced that situation in that household more than once, at first, obviously as a 5-year-old, I don't think I could comprehend what was going on. And then you would think like, oh, your mom was in church, she has a relationship with God, or, because something about like us human beings is that we always want to look who to blame. We always want to be like, who is to blame? In majority, when you say like you're in a relationship with God, you automatically think, oh, God's fault. Well, no, it's not either God's fault. It's not either my mom's fault. It is that man's fault. He decided to make that choice at the time, because we're humans, we tend to like make bad choices, make good choices. And at the time, I feel like that opened up a lot of insecurities in me as a child, and growing up as my adulthood, and not having like my father in the moment in that time was really hard. And I kind of just kept it to myself. Years after, I ended up telling my mom, because I think like when situations like that happen, you kind of just stay in shock for a very long time. You don't know what's going on. You're kind of just, you're a kid, you're innocent. Kind of just, when it gets destroyed, you almost feel like you're like, what just happened? And you just stay in that shock. And if you tend to hold it in and not like talk about it, then it just stays with you until you get more knowledge and you get more wisdom and know more about certain situations that you're able to open up to someone. So I did open up to my mom years later, but you would think like I would be upset with God, right? And I would be like, God, where were you? God this, God that. No, I think at a very young age, because of I come from a broken home, I come from so many hard experiences, I had to kind of grow up before I really needed to grow up. So I grew up at a very mentally at a young age. So that didn't create a distance between me and God. That did open doors to like a lot of insecurities, a lot of people pleasing, a lot of things that throughout the years God had to like work in with me, right? And like take out and work really in deep with me. But I did see in the midst of that situation that God was my father and he became my father. And you might ask yourself, why, if this was allowed? Once again, that person made that choice. It wasn't God's fault. But I did see God's protection throughout the years, because once I spoke about it, I would say like a year later, my mom then encounters the wife of this man, and she's like, do you know that so-and-so, the man, was in jail for actually committing the same thing he had done to me, but to other children? And my mom comes up to me, she's like, yo, Lex, like this and this happened. And I saw God's protection right there and then. And maybe to some people it wouldn't make sense, like, oh, years later. Yes, I saw God's protection. And I thank God that, we couldn't, sometimes, like I said in the beginning, we can't avoid, and we're not immune to situations in this world. We have to go through stuff, regardless if you're a child of God or not. You will go through stuff, but we do have a guarantee that God will be there for us. That God will be our protector, our guidance, and there are things that we are just bound to go through. So then, in the future, we can help others. I can talk to a young lady or anyone that has experienced the same thing I experienced and be like, listen, it's okay. You're not alone. I'm here for you. I can help you. And I can teach you the way and how you can get healed through God, because literally God is the only one that can step in and heal your heart the correct way. A permanent healing, not a temporary healing, right? And I just started like little by little experiencing certain things where once you give God that openness and that willingness to allow him to work inside of you, like I said, you won't be immune, or you won't be like, oh, I won't go through nothing because I'm a daughter of God. No, you will go through stuff. You will go through stuff, but he will always be there. And he will never allow you to go through anything that you can't handle. He knows you more than you know yourself. And after that situation, I became this young little girl that was very loud, outgoing. But I was loud and outgoing because I was covering my insecurities, trying to hide my insecurities through that pain, through everything. Because we humans tend to, and when I say we humans, I say us, like involving myself and you that you're watching. We tend to like hide our pain away and kind of like tuck it in a place of our heart where we think we forgot about it and it's healed and it's over and I don't think about it. No, it's there, okay? And the only way that you'll go in deep if you start creating that relationship, intimacy with God, where then he starts presenting you situations that remind you of that particular situation. You're like, oh, it's still there, right? And I became this young, outgoing girl with attitude, with just trying to be funny, trying to please people. But it was because I was really trying to hide the insecurities within me of that situation. So because I grew up at an age where we were distanced from God and I was still leaning on my mom, leaning on my mom as in like I still had not experienced, or how can I say this? I still had not kind of just taken the time to get to know my God, not my mom's God. So I kind of was still going by, my mom went to church, I went to church. When my mom had a fallout, I had a fallout. So I was still in my mom's boat. I still hadn't gotten that independence with God. And it wasn't until even with experiences that I knew God was calling me to that independence with him, I still had to go through them to learn and to kind of see him in those hard moments. And throughout those hard moments and seeing him was where I started creating that independence with him. It's where I started having those experiences that I'm like, okay, God, it hurts, but I see you, and that happened to Job in his story, where he was following God, but it wasn't until, he had to go through a moment where he said, I've heard of you, but now I see you. And I've heard of God all my life. Since I have knowledge, I have known of God. I used to sleep under chairs at church services because the church services would be too long. My mom was part of just anything and everything in church because she loved to be involved. Like, I would see miracles in church, it wasn't something new to me. This is part of my life, but I still had not gotten to that encounter with my God. With my personal God, like mine, not my mom's. Not how my mom had her experience with him. No, with mine. And I had to go through a lot of things. And also too, my bad choices caused many things that I've experienced. So because of me going through that season of going through that sexual abuse with a person that represented a man of God and was not, it did create a lot of deception. It did create a lot of insecurities. It taught me a valuable lesson, and it's to not go by appearance. And that's something that I learned at a very young age. And as a young girl, I never believed many people. I might have acted like I did, or just kind of just observe, but just because you say you are, you do, does not mean that's what it is. And I had to learn that at a young age, that appearances can be very, very fake and not real. And I think throughout that too is where I had seen God in my life as my protector, right? Because that taught me that I can't just believe everything just because it comes out someone's mouth. No, the Bible says you must have fruits, right? You can't just talk and not act. You have to act in the fruits of the Spirit, So after that young girl, right, grew up, She's this girl that's open, that's outgoing, wants to make everybody laugh, wants to please everyone, wants to have a good time with it, wants to be the life of the party, the person who kind of just brings that light, right? And not create that relationship with God yet. I then opened doors to the wrong people in my life. So where then at the age of 15, I experienced a domestic violence relationship. Because I was also trying to prove a point with my own strength. Once again, not letting God into any situation, into how I was feeling, not letting him in. And not letting him in could open so many doors in your life. From insecurities, from false relationships, from just so many emotions that are bound to destroy you and are bound to create that distance between you and God, and you're not seeing him as a father, as a protector, as a healer, as a provider, right? So I had experienced that domestic violence relationship, and it's crazy because God always sends people to kind of give you like a warning and let you know, hey, be careful. And I remember the night that I experienced that domestic violence situation in that relationship, and my mother had called me and my dad was around at the time. Like I said, he was in and out of my life. My father was like, oh, you gotta be careful, I have this bad feeling. And that night, my mom went to church. My mom had started going to church, and I kind of was at that age, my teenage years, but I kind of wanted to step back and like kind of do my own thing. Even though my mom was strict, but she never forced us or never forced God upon us. She always presented God as a friend. Obviously, that we had to respect him. We had to have fear for him, and when I mean fear, I mean respect. And we had to love him, and he was understanding, but then he would also don't play with him type of vibe. And I love that because that kind of left that door open to where if I really needed that help, I wouldn't question it twice to go running to God, I wouldn't question it. But as a young girl with all these experiences, I kind of just felt like I didn't want to go there no more. And it wasn't because of God, it was just my flesh. I made a choice to kind of just distance myself. I fed on the flesh and not the spirit. And when I experienced that domestic violence, my mom that night, right before anything happened, she was in a church service where it says, let her hit, the topic of the preaching was, let her kind of encounter the wall, kind of hit with the wall. And my mom was like, you okay, this and that. My mom did not know. I was kind of just doing things I wasn't supposed to do, leaving because at the time I was staying at my grandmother's house. She did not know I was leaving my grandmother's house to meet with people that she didn't want me to meet with. Right, so she gave me that call of that warning before everything happened. And in that moment when everything happened, I was so in shock. I was like, another deception, another letdown, and my insecurities just got bigger. It got bigger. I didn't understand a lot of things, what was going on. It was a mess of the situation. Like I said, we don't have to go into details. It was a really bad domestic violence situation at a very young age. But it wasn't until that situation had to happen. So then I can be okay, God, I need you. Okay, God, I need to stop trying to do things off of my own strength, right? Because in that midst of that domestic violence relationship, there were signs, red signs, but I couldn't see them because I was so blinded out on pleasing people, this open girl. I wasn't taking care or bringing to God that pain that was inside of me, and I was, as a girl that didn't have her father around as much, a girl that had experienced sexual abuse at a very young age, I was always lurking for that manly love in a human form, kind of replacing that father figure. That's why I'm telling you tonight, God presented himself in my life first as my father, because God will always present himself in your life of something that you're in need of. He will always fulfill that need, and he will become he will cover up that need that you're in need of. So he literally became my father. Like I was always taught like God is your friend, God is, God. Never kind of like I said, had that experience until I had to go through these situations. And I seen God's protection even before the domestic violence in the beginning of the relationship. I just once again made a choice to continue even with the signs that God had given me. And it was because I was still dealing with those emotions of having dad issues and going through the sexual abuse before. I was not healed. So in order for you to heal is the only way, like going to God and being healed is the only way where you can make right choices, where you can no longer repeat certain situations. And it wasn't until that moment happened that I was like, okay, God, I want to start listening to you, because clearly with my own strength, it's not gonna happen, right? Because when you come from a broken home, you tend to want to forcefully break generational curses, or forcefully trying to be like, I remember telling my mom once, I was like, you're gonna see, I'm gonna break with all these, that you can be in a relationship with the rest of your life and everything's like, this ignorant mindset that I had, that I was gonna break through that. But I did, because God helped me. But it wasn't the time. I was so young and ignorant, and I thought I was able to do it with my own strength, right? After the domestic violence situation, I decided to go back into my relationship with God. I first started seeking Him and having conversations with Him and letting Him know I felt, and just being very vulnerable and open to Him like I've never done before, because I'd never gotten the chance to, because my home was a broken home. My mom was a single mother. She had to hustle. She had to find a way to obviously be there. My older brother had to step in and overwork at a very young age, leave school. So I really didn't have that much guidance, or my mom was always there, but she was busy. She's a mom and I'm a child, and I don't know. It was a broken home, and my mom did an amazing job, right? Because I feel like she gave me the best thing any parent can give a child, and it's that knowledge of that God is real and that you can create a relationship with Him. And that's another thing that I am trying to teach my kids every single day, is that when no one's around and when you go through these experiences, God is right there. And that is the biggest gift and the biggest thing you can give to your child, is knowing that they're never alone, and that when they go through situations, God will always be there. I don't want to get emotional, but and the reason why I get emotional is because it's such an amazing gift to know that God will always be there for you. And after I experienced the domestic violence situation, I decided to open the doors to my heart to God once again. And I say once again because when you know God and then at a certain age you kind of just stop and then you go back. Well, that's the kind of relationship I had with Him at the time. I decided as a youth now to be a little bit more mature throughout the situations and kind of let God heal me inside. And I got baptized, and I had beautiful experiences with Him, but I still didn't give my all. Have you ever heard of someone that you're in church, but church is not in you? It's really you're in a relationship with God, but you only let Him in certain areas. Well, that's where I was at. And I was still being led by my mother. So I was still, and by that I mean I was still following her. I still hadn't created that full-on independence. I knew that I had to look for Him, but I kind of didn't have the full-on commitment at the time. So I was still fearful because of my insecurities, and I'm not good enough, I'm not going to be perfect. That false insecurity that the enemy throws at your mind, I could never, at the time, I felt like it was impossible to please God or to have that closeness with Him at the time. So I ended up distancing myself once again, right? And I ended up going through more other experiences, but it wasn't until I met my husband, I had my children, and now it's okay, You have to go with God. You have to create that relationship with God. You have responsibilities now. You have human beings that depend on you. Do you want the same cycles to go on and continue, right? Because the cycles continue when we shut God out and we let the world come in. And then the world has 20,000 opinions, 20 different ways, and none of them heal your real heart. None of them heal what you have inside, and all the bad stuff that was first presented. Nothing heals that. Only God heals. Like literally only God will heal those deep, deep, deep wounds that no one knows about. And when I started giving, once again, I'm like, God, okay, no. And glory to God, since I decided to like go back into a relationship with him, it's been a journey. And I mean, it's been a journey because God has had to, and still needs to, in many other ways, heal a lot of my inner child issues. And it's been through situations where I have woken up that part of me and has caused for me to kneel and cry to my Father. Something that I have never done with like my biological father, which I love him to death. He's my, I love him so much. We have a great relationship regardless of everything that has happened. He is my father and I love him so much. And yeah, that would never change. But God definitely presented himself as that perfect father. That father that never fails. That father that protects you. That father that loves you. That father that oversees your imperfections and sees the beauty of you. And he just became that for me. He became that father that I always needed. That father that I kind of didn't want to open the doors to because I was too busy trying to just hide my wounds and hide everything that I had experienced. And honestly, I had so many failing moments with my own choices and with the people around me that I was just like, just going about life. Didn't really care to sit and like have that conversation with God. So when I did decide to open that, and take that commitment and take it very serious, because now I have a daughter in my hands. I'm married. I was gonna have my second child. I'm like, okay, now it's really like these are really serious responsibilities in my hands, and who better than God? Who better than God to help me lead my family or help me kind of just be that example? And I wanted God to like heal everything inside me, and he did. And through those healings, like I said, situations had to be presented where it brought up that wound, like, boom, it came out. And I'm like, oh, that was in there. And your reactions. And then I would go to God, cry like a baby, like literally become a child in my like personal communication. Become like when a daughter goes running to her father. That's exactly what I was doing and still doing, and forever will go to my father and tell him everything. And even like it was hard, it has been hard healing, right? Letting God heal me, because in this time of letting him heal everything, he's had to heal, like, I'm not so outgoing anymore because I'm not covering so many insecurities like I used to. He's had to separate me from a lot of people in a lot of situations that always kind of take me back instead of pushing me forward. And it was really hard for me at first, kind of those separations from family members, situations, friends, anything like that, because not separation in a bad intention or separations that cause like drama. No, just like separations that needed to happen. And I saw God's protection throughout it. And at first I'm like, God, this is like really lonely. But it's not until you get into those lonely moments is where you actually start having that one-on-one and that healing with God. Sometimes God just has to like overshadow everyone, like just step back, like, so I can work with you, right? And at the time, I did not understand. I'm like, God, why do I feel so lonely? Why do I feel like I don't want to communicate with anyone? Why do I almost feel like I just want to be by myself? Or why are these situations coming up to where I kind of forcefully have to just be like, I can't, because it's a trigger. I just can't, you know? And it wasn't until I went to church one time and a preacher had come in and gave me a prophecy, and she was like, mind you, I did not talk to anyone. I only talked to God. And she was like, you find yourself in moments where you're by yourself, you're lonely. She's like, I just had to separate you, because I kept on asking God, why? You know, like, it's hard. I was raised in the projects, and I was raised along a lot of people. My mom's family has always been a close family to me. My cousins are like my siblings, and we're just a close knitted, and I always had people around me. I was really never like by myself when it came to like my mom's side of the family. So to then come in transition, and now letting God come heal my heart and heal all of my wounds, he decides to kind of just like, you're going to be by yourself. And it was hard for me. It was really hard for me to understand it, but now I get it. Because if I didn't have those moments of me and God, a lot of things would have happened, and I wouldn't have ran to him. I would have ran to other people. I would have just not ran directly to him. And as his child, God just wanted me to run towards him and just cry it out and let him know so he can heal me. And then, like I said, throughout these experiences, I can talk to others. But that's who God is in my life. He first came in my life as my father, literally as my father. And throughout those situations as my father, yes, there were moments where I had sicknesses that doctors said that I supposedly had, wanted me to take medications. And I was like, oh my God. And then he became my healer, because then it came to be that out of nowhere, I had no sicknesses. It was all like false. They didn't understand certain things, how and why. And he became my healer. So I saw God as my father, my healer. And in the midst of me growing up and now being married, having 2 kids, I had a moment where I struggled economically, and then he became my provider. And all that kind of stuff. And then in the midst of now, like in the moment right now, he's my best friend. I'm seeing God right now or experiencing God right now, should I say, as my best friend, because he had that moment where I was kind of just to myself, and I had to like distance myself from situations and from people. I just had him. And it was purposely done. Everything has its purpose. And now I'm seeing him as my best friend, the one that I lean to, the one that before I go to anyone or even have a conversation with anyone, I go to him first. I talk to him. If I'm feeling at my worst, he sees my ugliest cry, my first cry. He sees absolutely everything. And throughout that, I have been able to mature more and kind of have that discernment of spirit, knowing that once again, I can't be led by just being too open. And because the Bible says that we must protect our heart. And because I was hurt and my heart was unprotected, I let so many people in that created so much damages by choice, by the way. This is not like I'm not taking no accountability. No, by choice, I have let so many people in, and I've had made so many mistakes, and I have lost my identity throughout the process because I allowed so many people to come in. I've allowed to make so many I have done so many bad choices to where like my character, attitude, all types of things came out, right? And it wasn't until I literally decided to be like, no, God, I want to be healed. I want to grow in our relationship, to where he was like, okay, you want to grow, you want to be healed, separation. And that was really hard because I thought I was okay. I thought I was like, no, I've been in church for so-and-so, I'm fine. And God's like, no, there's still stuff in there that I need to take out. And that's where I started seeing God as my protector and as my friend, the friend that would tell you how it is respectfully with love and is always there, the friend that never fails, the friend that he's just perfect, he's loyal. He's that one friend that it's something, I can't say unexplainable, but it's probably like one of the most beautiful friendships I've ever had in my life. And I do have amazing friends and family, but nothing compares to God. Literally nothing compares to him, because I know, like, he's just been there from the beginning. Even in the moment that I experienced sexual abuse, even in the moment that I experienced domestic violence, even in the moments that, because of everything that I had gone through, I wanted to commit suicide at a very young age, the sicknesses, I could go on and on and on about things, and he was always there. I was the one that was choosing to kind of distance myself from him. And was it because I was hurt? 100%. It was probably because I was hurt and I just didn't want to deal with it. But I knew I needed him. Like, my soul just was like, you need him. So once I gave him a chance, he turned my life around. Today, because of him, I get to say I don't have a perfect family unit, but we don't have a broken home. My kids have a father, a present father that is there and will do anything and everything for them. Like, I have a healthy home because God is the center of our home. And when you allow God in your life, everything that you thought that was really just because, oh, I grew up in a broken home, I'm going to have a broken home, or, you think you're going to go down through such a dark valley that you think your life is just going to continue in the darkness. God brings that light that only he can provide, right? That fulfillment that only he can do. And once he starts healing you, you start healing you start healing, you start being a better person, you become a better mom, a better friend, a better everything, because God's in the mix of it, because you allowed God, to have that relationship with you. And that's who God has been in my life so far. And he will continue to be more and more and more, because he's everything to me. But he first presented himself as my father, and then he presented himself as my healer, because I had gotten sick, and it was like that one word that no one likes to hear, especially if you've experienced people or family members that have passed away by cancer and stuff like that. You feel like, oh my God, like that word. So you experience different stages in your life where you see God differently, but that's your God. That's your God. And if you're listening to me right now and you're like, I haven't experienced God, or I don't know who God is in my life, ask him. Like, it doesn't take a lot to actually have that communication with him. All you need to do is some time alone, just you and him. You believe that you're talking to him and that you're able to have that access, that easy access to just have that conversation with him. You can say, God, I need your help. God, I need you, or teach me, who are you in my life? Have that experience with him. You're open to that. And don't look at him as this religious God that will damn you or will kill you, or if you make any little small mistake, but look at him as just whatever you're in need of. Be like, God, listen, I'm going through this situation where I feel like I need a father, or I need a provider. Can you be that provider for me? Can you help me reach that, right? So that is who God is in my life, or who has been, and will continue to be many, many, many other things, because God is God. And the questions that I have for you guys today, or should I say tonight or today in this podcast, is, how did God come into your life, right? And if he hasn't, why hasn't he yet? What are you waiting for? God is also open and willing to create a relationship with you. It will be one of the most loyal, loving, and pure relationships you can ever experience. So don't wait on creating that relationship. Don't wait on continuing, letting the world kind of just create those wounds and that pain that kind of just really overshadows who you really are and who you could be in God, and how wonderful you can experience beautiful things with him. And that, once again, that doesn't mean you're immune to going through situations. You are, but he's there. And like Psalms 139 says, he knows you. Like, he literally created you, knitted you in the womb of your mother. Like, you're not talking to just anyone. You're talking to your creator. And he knows you more than anyone. And you can be very openly with him. You can have your ugliest cries and he will still be there. He won't judge you. He'll just be open to creating that relationship with you. And throughout that relationship, you'll start like healing, and you'll start knowing, what God likes, what God doesn't like. And it's just something beautiful to experience, and I am not sitting here today just because I want to sit here today and kind of just tell everyone my business, but I am sitting here for a purpose, right? And it's God's purpose. It's to show you, or to let you know that I'm a living testimony of that God is real. God is real. I've seen God in my life work wonders, work in situations that I'm like, oh, I see his glory. Literally, I see his glory. I see his love. I see his protection. I see him coming in as my father, fulfilling the emptiness that I had inside of me. I see him like in such a big way because I have allowed him, and I'm willing to continue to see him in many other ways. And really, he just becomes that light in the midst of the darkness. We're going to end this episode with our verse. It's Romans 11, chapter 11, verse 36 says, "For him and through him and for him are all things. To him be the glory forever. Amen." God bless you.